For many years, ultra-simplistic strategies that mainly revolved around buying an index fund which tracks the S&P 500 have proven to be good enough for the average investor because 1. They were passive, 2. They consistently delivered in terms of returns, but also 3. Systemic risks, even if they existed, were not in perfect storm territory. Fast forward to the present, and a combination between pandemic issues, deglobalization, and war has fundamentally changed the playing field. Confusion runs rampant, with experts not even agreeing on whether or not deflationary or inflationary forces are likely to prevail. In a nutshell, nobody has a clue what comes next. Thus, a generation-defining case for smart diversification can be made, with more and more investors having alternative investments on their radar, such as A. Innovation-oriented options, for example startups, digital assets, and P2P lending, or B. quote-unquote old-school options that are back in the spotlight, for example art, wine, and agriculture assets. The main pro of this diversification approach revolves around making it possible for investors to even achieve uncorrelated returns and thereby become increasingly flexible. On the con side, there is of course work involved compared to merely buying an index fund. Plus, building an art portfolio, a wine portfolio, and so on can get prohibitively expensive, which is why investment options that facilitate fractional ownership are oftentimes needed. As a potential solution, Pedanova.io aims to provide the best of both worlds by acting as a mutual fund for alternative assets. Thus, they make it possible to gain exposure to over 12 alternative asset classes with a total budget of as low as $5,000. Based on their data, 1. The correlation to traditional stock markets is low, with a 2.3 standard deviation, 2.66 Sharpe ratio, as well as 5.4% conditional value at risk. And 2. Earnings-wise, the compound annual growth rate since their mid-2020 inception is 33.8%, with a 15.4% absolute percentage return above what an S&P 500 index fund would have generated. Can there be guarantees? Of course not. But new and increasingly complex market conditions call for outside-the-box thinking, so paying close attention to alternative investments makes perfect sense.